Hey guys, welcome. This is Brad Krantz. Hey, glad to be here for Monday Morning Leadership. I was taking a couple weeks break there. I was out doing some traveling, just took a little bit of a break from social media, but I'm glad to be back. We're going to catch number 19 today. We've got 2 more episodes left to go. So today, again, we're looking at John Maxwell's The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. Great book. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And I hope you're getting some good content out of this. I hope this is inspirational, motivational, that you're taking some time to kind of chew on and digest each of these segments, because these really are critical for effective leadership. Again, he calls them indispensable qualities of a leader, and I have to agree. So today's number 19, servanthood. And I love this. Subtitle is To Get Ahead, Put Others First. Okay, author Eugene Habecker said, the true leader serves people, serves their best interests, and in so doing will not always be popular, may not always impress, but because true leaders are motivated by loving concern rather than desire for personal glory, they're willing to pay the price. And he's 100% spot on here. And that's a mouthful to digest, right? But servant leadership is a hot button of mine. And I'll tell you why, because it's so lacking out in the real business world, even in church, etc. And it's so needed, and it would solve so many problems if truly and properly practiced. That's why I believe in it. John Maxwell himself said that you've got to love your people more than your position. Amen. Again, he's 100% spot on, but sadly, that is easier said than done. When you think of servanthood, do you envision it as an activity performed by relatively low-skilled people at the bottom of the positional totem pole? I get asked the question, are servant leaders level 1 leaders, positional only? No way. In fact, he says if you do, you have the wrong impression, and that is absolutely 100% true. Servanthood is not about position and skill. It's about attitude. Just as you can sense when a worker doesn't want to help people, you can just as easily detect whether a leader has a servant's heart, right? And the truth is that the best leaders desire to serve others, not themselves. So then, what does that mean to embody the quality of servanthood? Let's take a brief look at this. And this is a really critical one here. So, number 1, they put others ahead of their own agenda. Interesting, huh? The first mark of servanthood is the ability to put others ahead of yourself and your personal desires. It goes counterintuitive to what we see in the business world, right? It is more than being willing to put your agenda on hold. It means intentionally being aware of your people's needs and available to help them and able to accept their desires as important. Wow. Number 2, they have possessed the confidence to serve. The real heart of servant leadership is security. And hear this, show me someone who thinks they're too important to serve, and I'll show you someone who is basically insecure. And that is so true, guys. How we treat others is really a reflection of how we think about ourselves. Okay, so he's going to jump to the law of empowerment here real quick and segueing into number 3. But it says only that secure leaders exhibit servanthood. And I have to agree with that. And I found that to be very true in my own life. Okay, I found empowerment by partnering with my current business team like I've never experienced before. And you want to know why? Because I found people who were secure in themselves, and that allowed them to empower me to pursue my gifts. I wasn't a threat to them. So, great. 3, it initiates service to others, right? Just about anyone will serve if they're compelled to do so. And we kind of know people will serve in a crisis, that how your leadership can be exemplified by a crisis. But we've probably heard that motto, right? But you can really see the heart of someone who initiates service to others. Great leaders see the need, they seize the opportunity, and they serve without expecting anything in return. Do you see that in your job, your business, your organization? We'll get to some questions here in a minute. 4, it's not position conscious. And again, this one's key too. Servant leaders don't focus on rank or position, right? Bosses and managers may, and they often do because they don't understand leadership, but because they're the lowest positional leaders. Okay, they lead by position, but servant leaders don't. Servant leaders are in the realm of permission, production, personal development, ultimately pinnacle, the 5 levels of leadership by John Maxwell, different topic. Number 5, they serve out of love. Okay, servanthood is not motivated by manipulation or self-promotion. Hear me here. It's fueled by love, okay? And in the end, the extent of your influence depends on the depth of your concern for others. You can't fake it, guys. You have to have a real, authentic concern for others or it doesn't work. And that's why it's so important for leaders to be willing to serve. Okay, let's reflect on this with some questions. I added one of my own because I want to ask, have you ever seen servant leadership practiced or exemplified in your organization or team? And I'm guessing you probably haven't, but if you have, I'd like to hear if you have. And then why or why not? And I'd say probably why not, because people don't know how to be leaders. They're not taught, they're not trained. And then where's your heart when it comes to serving others, right? If your heart isn't in serving others, servant leadership doesn't work. Do you desire to become a leader for the perks and benefits of personal leadership? And that's positional leadership, right? Or are you motivated by a desire to help others? That's going to tell you where you stand. And if you really want to become the kind of leader that people want to follow, and that's according to levels of leadership, numbers 2 through 5, you'll have to settle the issue of servanthood. If your attitude is to be served rather than to serve, you're headed for trouble. Okay, and if this is an issue in your life, then you may want to heed this advice. Okay, so he gives some practical advice here. Stop lording over people and start listening to them. Okay, stop role-playing for advancement and start risking for others' benefits. Stop seeking your own way and start serving others. It's true that those who would be great must be like the least and the servant of all. That's actually biblical. So to improve your servanthood, here's some suggestions that Maxwell provides. I think they're really good. One is perform some small acts. Okay, when was the last time you performed small acts of kindness for others? And I might say without any expectation of anything in return, right? Start with those closest to you. Maybe it's your spouse or your children or your parents. Find ways to do small things that show others that you care. And then learn to walk slowly through the crowd. I want to pause on this one because this is what's called, I think it was IBM or somebody came up with this back in the 60s, management by walking around. I think most management problems from my experience could be solved by just simply managing by walking around, but people don't do it. My last company, I never saw it. I said, if I were in that position, I would be going out on the shop floor. I would be getting out, getting to know people, ask what their challenges are, you know, what the positives and negatives are in their position, because you're going to know what's going on. Management by walking around. It's simple. It's not textbook. It's not all these, you know, ridiculous metric stuff. Just simply walk around and get to know people. But I've seen it overlooked so much, far too many times. It's almost comical. And this would solve so many problems in business if people would just take the time to manage by walking around, get to know people, ask them questions, find out what's going on in their life, in their job, et cetera, right? So how to put this into practice. The next time you attend, let's say, a business function or something, you know, with your business associates, clients, colleagues, employees, whoever it may be, make it your goal to connect with others by cultivating or circulating among them and talking to people. Guys, this is about people skills, people relations. Again, it's not taught. Focus on each person you meet, okay? Learn their name if you don't know it already. Good, and that's number one, learn their name. Make your agenda to know each person's wants, needs, and desires. Okay, and then lastly is move into action. Again, action conquers fear. If the attitude of servanthood is conspicuously absent from your life, the best way to change it is start serving. If you don't have a servant's heart, start serving. Maybe go to a soup kitchen or Transform Beering where we live and start serving people that are in maybe lesser stature, more needy than you, and you'll start understanding servanthood, right? And keep at it until your heart changes. Okay, it's not easy to be a servant. We're used to being served rather than serving. Guys, thanks for joining me today. You know, I hope you received some value from this segment. This one was kind of really close to my heart. If you did, please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you would like the content and you'd like to receive and be notified of more to come. And then also please reach out to me on social media at the links provided. Have an awesome Monday, guys. Bye-bye.